Hi guys, this is Emnel and we are back playing Tyranny. At the end of the last episode we looted another parchment. We also looted something that will give us +1 quickness, and we kinda need quickness for our spells and such. It lowers the cooldown of our spells and abilities. Not very useful for her, because she uses abilities, but she's mostly a melee damage dealer, so we'll give that parchment to her this time around. We also got this expression this time around, so we're going to learn it. We need 30 lore, we have it. By learning that, we'll get some lore as well, and now we can craft different spells. So we can take Core Sigil, and now we have a different expression, which focus intent. So this is on a single target near caster, and this is on a single target. This is on enemy on a distant enemies. And Rhyme Spike. Basically, we deal quite a lot of frost damage, as you can see, unless they dodge. And if we hit them, we freeze them for 4 seconds. Recovery for it is 1.4 seconds, and range is 8 meters. We also do an area of effect damage around the target. Also freezing for 4 seconds, but with less damage. And those two things. As you can see, we started with Control Frost at 35, I believe. We are up to 40. Lore we started with 44, I think, something like that. And as you can see already, 49. She has 23, but no, actually she has 28 already, but minus 10 because of 2 wounds. And since we have enough lore, we can also get better range on it. If we look here, as you can see, it jumps by 2 meters. And we can assign it here. We could, for example, make a different version without this. This is going to be the same spell. It's kind of pointless because if you use one, the other also goes on cooldown. I checked. And she doesn't have, should need 30 to be able to use a basic version of it, so we'll have to wait for that.
On it.
Now, there are some things we can find on this map. We need 35 athletics. We started with 32, if you remember. But by pushing that boulder, we got 5, and now we'll get even more. And we managed to find a hidden compartment, which leveled up our Sapphish as well. And we got a potion on invisibility out of it, and we can find that. Right, we have a level up. We get 1 attribute point and 1 talent point. As for attributes, I don't think we need more finesse for the time being. Resolve is of a secondary concern. Quickness would be nice, but I think we'll just go with wit. Not only because it will just increase our spell power by 5, but if you look here, both wits and resolve are responsible for lore. Lore is something that will affect all of our spells, and whenever you cast a spell, you use, as we've seen, you use an average between your control of that kind of magic and lore as your attack stat. And the the more lore we have, the better spells, more buffed up with those accents spells we can use. So definitely want more lore, and that's why wit will be the our attribute of choice for the time being, since we already have a fairly decent numbers elsewhere. As for this, so there are 6 trees of things: leadership, defense, power, agility, range, and magic. Well, we already have single point spent here because we went for 2 points into frost magic. So we kinda rather than getting the different type of magic that we can buy, we decided to get a talent point. Now we could, since we already spent 1 point, we can we can now spend points into the second line. To spend points here, we need to have 2 talent points spent in the magic tree. So magic tree is basically 2 things. One is things that, so we have that energy shield that we can later upgrade and get actual armor for physical stuff. And then we can, as well as deflection for magic, which is basically we get 50% chance that a critical hit will become a hit, and that hit will become a glance when we have it. And now we have, and later we can upgrade it to reflect spells from it, which this is going to be a fairly useful way of helping us survive later on. Another thing is that we can buff that trust of ours, which whenever we use it, we get plus 15 to all magic skills, which is nice. And enemy hit by it gets spell breached affliction, which lowers his armor values for all the elemental things. But for the time being, I think we will actually get a passive boost to lore. Another thing that we could use is an additional spell slots, but well, we can wait with that, or we can actually, since we already have 1 point here, we can pass on that and go straight forward for this 4 slots later on. So this is like one thing. We just go for we get lore, we get spell slots, we get this defensive ability and buff it, and we get the trust bonus. But trust bonus is everywhere. Like every single one has different kind of trust ability, and they stack. And this side of the tree, however, increases the damage you deal with staff. It is an ability, so the damage is based on the weapon you have. We have a frost staff with base damage 12-13, but since this is an ability, it is based on might rather than wits. So this is no for us. Same goes to the rest of this. So this is basically an ability that allows us to deal damage in a small AoE away from us. Staff damage, this is the same thing but in a cone, so staff damage in a cone. This allows us to attack with our staff from stealth and inflict weaken. Which actually is probably not a bad idea, even with if we are not actually dealing damage. So, well, I'll think about that. Just our first attack, inflict weaken for 33 seconds. Not a bad thing. And here there are basically passive things that increase our magic staff damage and also allow us to get double and triple strikes more often, since that's an option when you staff. And lastly, we have talents that add fire, frost, and shock damage to our staff attacks. And this is just an ability that we can later. This is just an ability that deals damage around us. So we'll probably go with a few points in magic. Then we'll probably go actually a few points in range for defense and increased accuracy, and eventually go for leadership that we cannot take now because we need level 3. And there are some nice things in leadership, but we'll discuss that later. For now, I am going to get that plus 10 lore, in my opinion, and very much worth it. It's basically plus 5 accuracy to all of our spells outright. Can we talk to you or not? Honor by your presence. I'm not going to read all of that. If you are interested, you can pause and look through those. There is quite a lot of talking with later on. Oh, okay, I actually need to check that. Breakers hold the citadel in the heart of the valley. The one built around this base of the spire. Alright, the Matani River has been our largest headache during the siege. It's unsafe for armored troops to ford, save for the key locations. And the enemy knows this as well as we do. I know we'd be a lot further along if the Scarlet Horse used its alleged strength in numbers to ford the river themselves and overrun the enemy. Aurora looks at the verse with a disapproving air. As it is, we must take the valley slowly and advance the disfavored bulwark, since that's where the real work gets done. Because it's all it takes in numbers to cross the river. All it takes is numbers to cross the river under hail of arrows, the verse says. If the disfavors were quicker to act, maybe the Vendrian Guard wouldn't be so trained up to face us. Okay, so I can either side with her or her. Okay, I'll go. I become a smartass. Okay, so Vez actually likes that. She doesn't. Fair point. The Legion is eager to gain some perspective on our quarrels. Consequently, I retract my previous remark. Alright. We also got some lore experience out of it. There is another thing to get there, but before we need to. Alright, first of all, let's go to the shop. Let's see what you have. He does have Sigil of Lightning, which is a core, which basically will allow us to cast all of the lightning spells. This is the reason why I didn't get the lightning. I went with frost rather than lightning, so we are going to buy that. And there are two accents. One increases the area of spells, and another increases the duration. We are going to buy them both if we can afford it. Let's see. Need the shield, and the shield, and the javelin. No need for that. One's phalanx. The ones she has, the ones Verse has are better because they have bonuses to accuracy, so we'll be using them for a while. And I think Verse had right, this one. Right, so we'll buy it and then get some. Alright, we have some spare cash now. And another thing you can do here is you can mess with the guy. We already bought everything he has, so I trust you've been granted proper stewardship of the goods you are peddling. Well, you see for Fatebinder. I think so. I've been handed these bits of scraps. But I'm not a woman of letters. Numbers are my strength, as you can well imagine. See those. Certainly good Fatebinder. A cursory read indicates that the merchant is granted unlimited right to trade in a logistical capacity. When not supporting an active battle, she has the right to trade grain, copper, and olives anywhere in the tiers. Well, looks like we have a slight problem here. A problem? How can it be? I paid a span's profit for the stewardship. What sort of problem is that? I'm sorry to tell you, but you have the right to trade greenworn olives, ridge wheat, and maggot meal for beastmen. So we basically want to shake what? Maggot meal. I was taught this was a logistical stewardship, that I could trade war goods. She grabs at her air, body shaking with nervousness. You're not going to report me. I mean, if I knew I'd be swindled, Why? Be knee deep in the swindler's guts. I can fix the tearing. What is worth it? It's worth it. Well, I guess it's for all my wares, minus 1 copper ring. So she can give me some money, an amethyst or an axe. Well, let's see an axe. You get 125 copper rings. And when I chosen the amethyst, I never get on anything, so it seems to be bugged. So we'll test what kind of weapon you get. No sane person in this day and age does. Yeah, doesn't need a. Serve you well, alright. Iron axe. Okay, let's actually modify it in her favor. How's trade? Well, blah blah. Still can, yeah, we can still trade with her, and we have a one-handed axe. Not sure if we will use it, but oh well. How much is it worth, actually? I haven't checked. Well. Should have taken the money. I thought perhaps it would be something with more gold. Well, something with one of those sieges like Verse has. As you can see here, minor parrying plus 3 to parry and plus 4 to parry, and another 1 plus 4 to accuracy. There's another stash of things right here. It's a bit weird that all that messing with her doesn't require you to well. Okay, so we can climb with 30 to athletics. We got some plus athletics, but we don't have enough subterfuge to open that. You could, if you really want, you could get enough creating a character, but it's a bit excessive. But you get there, you definitely want to come back here later, because you get a high level parchment for your magic. But to even use it, you have to have lore of 80, so it's not very useful for us, so I wasn't as keen to actually spend points on it. We'll get that subterfuge soon enough, anyway. Okay, have we... yeah, I think we... alright, this is the one on the wall. Alright, and the last thing. They have a prisoner and can't decide what to do with him. The prisoner says his name is Tarkis Demos. They don't think this is a complicated matter. He dies. His family has been a driving force in a verdant guard. Killing him should demoralize whatever's left the Tarkis clan. All must be given a chance to find absolution in service of the Scarlet Curse. And you know full well, this has always been in our way. He has a chance to be a slave or a soldier. Only then we do fit him to the pigs. Let you take prisoners, but you cannot control them. You send those conscripts out on patrol and they never return, and defecting all over again. I can't let this nonsense strategy continue. Well, I insist this oathbreaker be taken to the voices of the Rat, leaving us at an impasse. Fortunately, we have a Fatebinder here to settle this matter for us. So, what say you? What should become of this prisoner? Okay, well, let's do that. Let's hear people spat on the surrender. The fools and to ever treat them as anything more than violent children. Mercy is what got us into this protracted fight. Let's not continue this mistaken strategy. Well, since we are traveling with a Scarlet Chorus, might as well make her like it. And, well, yeah. So here basically you can also save him, I believe, or get him killed, basically, and that actually has an effect on the later game. This is the sort of nonsense that got us into the mess we are in now. If we keep showing those mongrels mercy, they'll just bite us time and time again. If you calm your nerves, I assure you that this one won't be put on the battlefield. The mage snaps her fingers loudly, gesturing for her gang to listen. Make sure the prisoner is taken straight to the voices of the rats. I won't keep you here any longer, Fatebinder. For the glory of the chaos. Alright. So we're done with this area. Speaking of all those reputations we are getting, wrath and favor. So there are faction reputations. As you can see, the Scarlet Chorus, we have a little bit of favor with them. This favor, we have even more favor with them, but that's because we already talked about our with that Aurora person at the very start. We talked with her about what we've done during the conquest. Once we get talk to the Archons, we get a full load of the reputation bonuses from the conquest times. So those are actually separate from what I know, and you basically you get, once you reach there, you get abilities, and you can max out Wrath and max out Fervor at the same time. So it's actually beneficial to just keep. You don't need to support one person at the same time. You can mix it up, and you'll be pretty good. Even though you may need to wait for those abilities to be unlocked. So here you have passive abilities on the faction ladders, and you even have 3 for those rebels you are fighting, and they're actually still quite likely, despite killing already 9 of them. Well, 10 lieutenant. And well, I haven't gone that far, but I imagine you can then decide to side with them. I think that will make sense, especially since if you see here, for example, Sever Ashes Bond. So this is basically removes the Ashes Aegis from this favor, which seems that you will be killing them this way. So yeah, well, we'll get that when we get there. And companions. Companions, on the other hand, have active abilities. One for one from loyalty and one from fear. And Archons just have bars. Not sure what exactly they do. But Archons are affected by the faction, by the reputation changes for their factions. So it's kind of it's not the same, but it's not translated one-to-one, but there is a correlation. Right, let's keep going. All right, we should before we go, however, we should probably read all the parchments we got. Oh, actually, you know, damn it. We'll do that later. So we will get some lore for our new recruits that we'll get in a sec. Hint, hint. Disfavored camp. 3 hours. Actually, hours are important here. So we'll see in a sec. This is the first of those kinds of games where you actually need to watch the time.
Right.
Okay, so there are disfavored and some merchant here. I'll Fadebinder. Camp is on up ahead. Don't mind us. Just clearing out the rubble. Still don't understand what I've done to offend. I respect that those are now disfavored lands, and I'm happy to give the Legion a proper toll, but she's going on about trading rights. What nonsense is that? I'm not allowed to trade one thing for another? It's not like I'm selling weapons to angry peasants or anything of the sort. Okay, so you are on this lands, they can kill you. Overlord treasure trace. Your goods are forfeit. Yeah. Perhaps we'll get the goods out of it, some goods out of it. Trade permit. Well, how was I mean? To whom would I speak about such thing? Not us, and not our problem. Maybe march your butt to a bastard city and plead your case before Town. But we'll lighten your burden and relieve you of your wares first. That should make the long trek a bit more bearable. So once again, I tell that I can tell that they can kill him, or anything to be argued before Townon can be maybe argued before me. Yeah, let's do that. Yeah, this favor didn't like it, but well, whatever. If you are losing favor, that's bad. But if you are gaining wrath or gaining fear, that's alright. What's there to discuss? We should kill the mongrel, and if the fate by the wishes to wait in on the matter, courteously demands to listen. The soldier pleased the shroud, looking at you expectantly. This is a disfavored matter, but I know the agents of the court do so love to throw their judgment around. Well, you could rob me now and have my supplies today, or you can leave me alive and have fermented honey all year long. I even know a few family recipes for painkillers and healing draughts. Certainly, and the army will need those. Okay, so I can... Okay, what a coincidence. Your family recipe for wound paste smells just like the Scarlet Fury's own concoction. Where would you steal this? Or if we have chosen the Lawbreaker or Hunter background during the character creation, we've chosen Diplomat, we would have some other options. I think we'll go with Lore because, well, I want the Lore experience more than I want Snappy Fish. I don't know what you're getting at. Well, we can pick him up by the collar. Settle down. I'll tell you anything. Just don't hurt me. Well, that's probably gonna end badly for you. I found most everything out of the forest in the valley. Out in the forest of the valley. I kept my head low when I heard sounds of combat, but then I'd take a look and grab whatever wasn't claimed by the first victors. So you stole from the disfavored dead. How else did you get your hands on that iron? You'd come here and sell us our own armaments. If anything, as an owner, I will return it, but this iron would have turned to rust if left in mud on the battlefield. The disfavored are few in number. Is it not right? You need a man like me to gather up supplies that would otherwise go to waste. Okay, so we can order them to tolerate him. Well, we are bad people, and well, harsh justice. So you stole from the Archons, and then wish to sell back. Your life ends here. And they like that? No, please, I can explain. How do you know that Tyranny is lying? His lips are moving. Okay. Ha ha ha. And verse like this. Clean kill. Cleaner than he deserved anyway. I would have done a better job of it, but I don't begrudge you carrying favor with the Ironclads. Let's speak through that what's useful. If you find anything of merit, report it to the Iron Marshal and Fatebinder. Thanks for making the right call. Every time we show the locals a drum of civility, they spit on our good nature. Let us never fall for the treachery again. Right. Well, was not sure whether she was talking about the kill when he was still alive. But... Alright, we can. Well, we cannot unlock it just yet. Slow down for a moment. I know we are both eager to watch Archons bicker over tactics like a pair of magpies, but I need to ask you something first. Okay, what's that? The voice of Narad told me that you've come as a mediator. Considering the source, well, I can't help but feel I'm only hearing half the story. So, let's have it out. What's so special about you? Oh, did the voice of Narad ask to spy on me? Oh, she like that? And a loss of words best regard you with momentary unease. Well, or even surprise, he's an Archon of secrets. Knowing in advance is his business. So he's snatching up any advantage over Graven Ash. Those two compete like a couple of new recruits for a spot around the fire. It's nothing nefarious, the voice is just curious why you're here. If we wanted to know more, we wouldn't be able to suss it out that easily. Could have sent one of his scare opinions in my stead. That's so suspicious. Just a feeling I got. When the Archons are together, the air gets as taut as a bowstring. I can help the thing that no amount of compromise will get them seeing eye to eye. Why do you think Archons are adults? I've been with Scarlet Horus since the early days of the Conquest, so I can say it's been building for a few years now. There's energy about those two, like a pair of storms moving to collide. I heard tell that Graven Ash and Voices from the Rat shed some bad blood in the Northern Empire, but I don't know any of the particulars. I may utter it out as we fall in line. That sounds like exactly the attitude to set the campaign in the right direction. I don't envy you the task of getting them to cooperate, which sounds about as easy as teaching a tornado to heal. Okay, so you want to know what else they told you. One that I would find in the ruins, hopefully I could have picked you out of a crowd. You are the only one of us who hadn't spent the last few months bathing in the stink of the Mittani River. Okay, let's actually lie to him. Is that all? Yeah, that we are just looking at the siege. Okay. Hey, don't let me hold you back. I'm sure whether you are here to do is important enough that you don't need me on this in your stepping path. The war tent is just past the center of the camp. One must think. Be careful around these favorite types. They take their work seriously. I must have suffered too many blows in the head to the head. How much do we have actually? 34.
On it.
Oh, still a while before we can use it. Let's check the outskirts first. Yeah, actually it's 36 minutes, so we are going to end this episode. I'm usually trying to hit 30-minute mark, but the beginning of this game is very conversation heavy, and it's not going to be over just yet. So yeah, right, and actually my throat hurts of all this. So I will see you next time. Cheers.